world. With that, viewers, we're shifting focus to more updates coming in. US President Donald Trump has hosted leaders from 5 Central Asian nations at the White House on the 6th of November, emphasizing critical minerals as a key priority. The meeting has included representatives from Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan as the United States seeks to expand its influence in the resource-rich region, traditionally dominated by Russia and increasingly being courted by China as well. Listen in to what the Central Asian leaders have had to say.
You are the great leader, statesman, sent by heaven to bring common sense and traditions that we all share and value back into the United States policy, either domestic or foreign. Therefore, millions of people in so many countries are so grateful to you.
Уважаемый господин Трамп, мы высоко ценим ваш личный вклад в обновление перезагрузки C5+1. На самом деле, до этого ни один президент Америки так не относился к Центральной Азии. Мы очень, я лично и все мои коллеги очень благодарны. Мы на самом деле почувствовали вот такое внимание с вашей стороны. И это...
Ve mo duyum intikal diyanda diyor ki şu ba Amerika devlet yasen ki in namudi madani kritikora vay mikunad. İmkaniyato khili faravan san mo amade hamkari هستیم. bazı مسائل امنیتی است که با ما صحبت رو ادامه میدیم. با شما من سلامتی میخوام. برای کار موفقیت. Salamat olsun.
Biz бұл қадамды жоғары бағалаймыз. Жана АКШ-нын Борбордук Азияга болгон ак ниеттүүлүгүнүн далили катары кабыл алабыз. Биздин биргелешкен аракеттерибиз конкреттүү жыйынтыктарга, өлкөлөрүбүзгө өз ара пайда алып келерине мен толук ишенемин. Көңүл бурганыңыздар үчүн рахмат.
Уверен, что принятые решения в рамках сегодняшнего саммита также будут способствовать дальнейшему расширению и углублению многостороннего сотрудничества между государствами Центральной Азии и Соединенными Штатами Америки. Уважаемый господин президент, еще раз большое спасибо за теплый прием и гостеприимство. Спасибо большое.
Meanwhile, Trump has highlighted efforts to strengthen U.S. supply chains through global agreements, stating that the United States is working to diversify supply chains away from Moscow and Beijing. The C5+1 platform, launched in 2015, fosters cooperation between the United States and Central Asia on the economic front, energy and security matters as well. Trump has also announced that Kazakhstan has officially joined the Abraham Accords, marking a crucial step in the region's diplomatic shift. Listen in to what Trump had to say.
Very distinguished people, I've just completed a series of outstanding bilateral meetings with these leaders in the Oval Office to discuss our ties with this very important part of the universe. We're strengthening our economic partnerships, improving our security cooperation, and expanding our overall bonds. A tremendous amounts of trade was done just in the last little while. Lots of great products, military products and otherwise, are being bought from the United States. One of the key items on our agenda is critical minerals. In recent weeks, my administration has strengthened American economic security by forging agreements with allies and friends across the world to broaden our critical mineral supply chains. We had a great relationship and a great meeting with President Xi of China.
Joining us on the broadcast is Mr. Robinder Sachdev, author of Trumpetopia and an international affairs expert from New Delhi. Thank you so much for taking our time and speaking to us. As we know, the Central Asian nations are resource-rich, whether it is critical minerals or natural gas. The Central Asian region has traditionally been Russia's backyard. We've seen China trying to court these countries as well through the Belt and Road Initiative. But of course, the key point of focus at the moment is Donald Trump speaking about supply chains. We have seen that China impose restrictions on its own critical minerals, and we've seen tensions simmering between Washington and Beijing with regards to this. Then do you see this particular meeting and what's transpired as an attempt by the United States of America to diversify where it receives these critical minerals that it then uses to manufacture its defense equipment and important tech equipment as well?
Thank you so much. Oh, absolutely, yes. Central Asia is rich in natural resources, and as you mentioned, not only critical earths and rare earths or critical minerals, etc., oil and gas, gold, for example, uranium. Kazakhstan is the world's largest deposits of uranium. Tajikistan. These are unexplored areas, immensely rich. One. Secondly, they are sandwiched between Russia on the one side, and they were all part of Russia, right? And on the other hand, China. And no doubt China has made huge inroads in these countries through trade and various exchanges, including the BRI projects. Now, that said, these countries are landlocked. Okay, so on the one hand, there's Russia, on the other hand, China. Both of them are competing for influence out there. And the other side is, Iran, Afghanistan, which are also kind of, different nature of countries. Now, that said, Trump is on a worldwide hunt, you could say, for critical minerals and rare earths. If we were to look what Trump has been doing over the past few months, he has zeroed down, apart from his issue of tariffs and other aspects and trying to keep the oil prices low and all, he has zeroed onto the rare earths, critical minerals. The deal with Ukraine, remember the $500 billion deal, which Zelensky got a scolding in the White House, but later on has been converted. So he's tied up with Ukraine. He's tied up with Australia. The Australian Prime Minister was there, about an $8 billion some supply chain. Now, Central Asia, virtually, I would not say unexploited so far, but yes, virtually untapped so far, is a huge resource. And it is but logical that Trump's, eyes would have zeroed down to this region. And obviously the reason was the annual C5+1 meeting. It is an annual meeting wherein the C5, that is the Central Asia 5, plus the US meet since 2015. It was at the foreign ministers level initially. In 2023 is the first time that Biden held a leaders level meeting at or on the sidelines of the UN summit in 2023. So now the annual event was due, so Trump suddenly would have found a focus and an interest if he were to sit down with the microscope and see what all these nations would bring. And they have been, yes, and all of them, if you see, you played their remarks, all of them are looking to build relations with the United States also. Partly in a way to hedge also, because they are sandwiched between Russian influence and Chinese influence. So it gives them, a hedge or a triangulation kind of a strategy. You heard what the president of Kazakhstan said, that amongst other things, that Mr. President, you've been sent from the heavens. Okay. The Uzbek president said that you're the president of peace. The Tajik president said, we wish you again as president of peace and invite you, etc. Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan. So all of these nations, I think, are very much looking forward and ahead to build deeper relations with the United States. And on the other hand, it fits Trump's objective also to, tap these nations for critical and rare earth materials and oil and gas also. Yes. I mean, I've lived in this area. I've lived in Kazakhstan, I've lived in Tajikistan, I've done business in Turkmenistan. So these are rich countries, and now they're buying also. Trump has been citing, Uzbekistan purchased $8 billion of Boeing aircrafts. It has placed an order. Kazakhstan has placed an order of around $4 billion for locomotives. And Trump has been saying that it is the largest railroad export order ever. So that is also going on in addition to the supply chains.
Indeed, sir, requesting you to stay on with us. There are some other very critical developments that have taken place at this particular conference. In fact, following the larger Central Asian leaders meeting with Trump, other new developments have come to light. President Trump has announced that the United States and Uzbekistan have in fact finalized a trade and economic agreement. Under the deal, Uzbekistan plans to invest $35 billion in US sectors over the next 3 years and more than $100 billion over the next decade. Separately, Trump has also described a great call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu amid reports that Kazakhstan is set to join the Abraham Accords. In a post on Truth Social, Trump has stated that Kazakhstan would be the first country of his second term to enter the US brokered peace framework, with a signing ceremony expected soon. The White House has not yet released a full readout of the call, but US officials have confirmed that Kazakhstan is poised to normalize relations with Israel under the accord. Listen in to what Trump has stated.
This evening, I'm also delighted to report that Kazakhstan has officially agreed, and that's official now, as of about 15 minutes ago. A tremendous country with a tremendous leader has officially joined the Abraham Accords.
Still with us on the broadcast is Mr. Robinder Sachdev. This is another interesting development. We do know that Kazakhstan is a multi-ethnic, multi-religious country, but about 70%, 69.3% to be very specific, of its citizens are followers of Islam. Then how significant is the entry of Kazakhstan into the Abraham Accords, and does this then set the tone for other Central Asian countries and countries in the Middle East to follow suit?
It could. I mean, yeah, sure, Islam, Kazakhstan is dominantly Islamic, but, you know, the version of Islam which is there in Central Asian countries is not, I mean, it's quite different in a sense, because, you know, over 90 years, there was no religion supposed to be in the Soviet Union, right? So religion was kept aside and communism was there. So the version of Islam which is there in these countries is a very moderate version. Sure, there are elements of security and extremism also in all, I mean, every way, but aside. The reason it is important, one, it's symbolic. Kazakhstan already had diplomatic relations with Israel. But one more player in this mix becomes the United Arab Emirates. You see, in the Abraham Accords, Israel, UAE, Bahrain, etc. Now, the UAE has deep or growing relations in the Central Asian countries. UAE and the Arabs have been have been building up their relations out there. So what it does for Kazakhstan is that it brings it closer to UAE also, okay, which has funds to invest, right? And of course, with Israel, and it kind of gets it in the loop of these countries. So it is definitely, I mean, on the one hand, it's symbolic. On the other hand, it is, it creates a framework which is advantageous to Kazakhstan in terms of building its, you know, outward linkages other than Russia and China.
All right, so requesting you to stay on with us as we're tracking some other updates at this time from the business fair. Tesla shareholders have approved CEO Elon Musk's nearly $1 trillion pay plan, with 75% of voting shares in favor. The package, split into 12 tranches, links payouts to ambitious market capitalization, profit, vehicle delivery, full self-driving subscriptions and robo-production targets over the next decade. Musk's ownership would in fact rise from 13% to 25%, giving him increased voting power as well. The first tranche is tied to a $2 trillion market cap, with later payouts requiring Tesla to reach $8.5 trillion. Operational milestones include 20 million vehicle deliveries, 10 million FSD subscriptions, 1 million humanoid robots, and 1 million commercial robotaxis. Musk claims that Optimus robots could eliminate poverty and transform healthcare, though none are on the market yet. Even partial achievement of targets could earn Musk over $50 billion. The plan allows payouts in covered events like disasters or legal changes and imposes no restrictions on Musk's political activities or the time spent at Tesla. The approval comes after a court ruling that Musk's 2018 pay plan was improperly granted and must be rescinded, a matter now under appeal. Still with us on the broadcast is Mr. Robinder Sachdev. This is, of course, an unprecedented compensation package which is tied to long-term performance targets. Some might argue that these targets are quite ambitious as well, including the $2 trillion market cap and later payouts requiring Tesla to reach $8.5 trillion market capitalization as well. The humanoid robots reaching 1 million in production, whereas they're not on the market as of now. Do you think these goals are realistic at the outset? And I also wanted to understand from you, what are the risks that are there with this particular plan?
Sure, there could be risks, no doubt, and it is a challenging plan. But stepping back, the key thing to observe from this pay package is that Tesla is pivoting away from electric vehicles. I mean, it's there very much in, the electric vehicles, cars sold, right? The target is 20 million cars on the road for the first, milestone. As of now, Tesla has, I think, around 8 to 9 million cars on the road. So 11 million more cars. That means 20 million cars on the road, 2 trillion market cap. Right now is 1.5 trillion. So that is the first tranche target out there. But the key thing to notice is that the growth that they are looking and pushing for is in the robos, is in the robo taxis, those segments. So Tesla is, if not moving away, or Tesla sees its future as, let's put it this way, Tesla sees its future as not only a car company, but a platform, sure, of robotics and mobility. So that's there. Now, the challenges which are there, certainly yes, the challenges are there. I mean, if you were to look 1.5 trillion today and a 10-year target, supposedly, let's say 8.5 trillion, that means around 6 times market value enhancement in 10 years. So any investment, which goes up 6 times in 10 years is a huge return, I would say, right, in a big picture. The challenges are sure, regulatory challenges could be there. I mean, much of the robo-taxis or how robos, not only in the US or in other countries, work or are compliant or standards and all. But I think that they are obviously assuming. So regulatory challenge is one. And then definitely, yes, market acceptance and all. But the way Tesla has been going, the way their products are, it could, if not reach all of those targets, could reach probably substantially those targets. And Tesla then would be becoming something like, an Apple, or let's say a Foxconn, or a TSMC, sorry. So Tesla is heading towards that as a company, perhaps.
All right, sir. With that, I'd like to thank you for taking out time and, of course, sharing your analysis